Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Baseball Paradise podcast presented by the Duck Duck Bros. I'm your boy, Master Dami, and today we are going to talk about the next great rivalry in baseball. Maybe, I don't know yet. There's a lot of talk around baseball right now if this is going to be the rivalry, at least for 2021. Maybe in the future. We're going to get into that. We're going to break it down by the numbers. And I know what you're thinking. Damie, you're a Dodgers fan. You're going to have a biased opinion. No, I'm looking strictly at the numbers. And we're going to break this down. And I'm going to tell you whether, yes, one, if this is going to be a rivalry, a great rivalry like everyone is talking about. And two, for 2021, who is the better team? Because there's a lot of debate right now on what team is better. And honestly, I'm going to give you my biased opinion probably, which I don't think is very biased. I think it's very fact-based. But people are going to say it's biased because I'm a Dodgers fan. Yeah, of course. But it's strictly off facts, not biased. Come on. And I'm going to give you the stats. I'm going to give you the numbers. It's all right here on this piece of paper that I wrote. Look, front and back. Has a lot of writing. Yeah, right, small. Hey, but for you people listening, I have a piece of paper. I'm showing it on video for YouTube, but hey, there's a paper. You can probably hear it in the mic. It has a lot of numbers, a lot of names on it. And let's get into it, all right? So, rivalries. When I think rivalries, specifically in baseball, right? There's a lot of great rivalries in sports, but when specifically in baseball, three rivalries I think of. The three greatest rivalries in baseball. Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals and Cubs, Dodgers and Giants. And there's a lot of small rivalries that people will bring up, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, White Sox, I guess Dodgers, Yankees, Dodgers, Angels, like the little, crosstown rivalry type of deal, little rivalries, interdivision rivals, But I'm thinking, the way everyone's just talking about this, I'm thinking big, right? Big rivalries, because this is what everyone is making it out to be, a big rivalry, the biggest rivalry. Let's break it down, all right? What makes a rivalry great? Head-to-head matchups, right? It's the matchups you mark on your calendar every time you play that team, right? Every time the Dodgers and Giants are playing, I don't give a damn if the Dodgers are in first place and the Giants are in last place and the Giants are 50 games out. I'm going to watch that game because I know something juicy might happen. I'm going to sit there with my little tea and I'm going to wait for something juicy to happen because it's either going to be a good game or somebody's going to get their ball thrown at their head. I don't know. It's going to get juicy one way or the other. Same thing when Cubs and Cardinals play, right? Sunday night baseball. We don't really get Cubs and Cardinals in our area, but hey, when it's on Sunday night, yeah, I'm going to sit down on Sunday night and I'm going to watch me a Cubs and Cardinals game because, one, it's going to get juicy. Whether the teams are competitive or not, it's just something about that rivalry, just you just want to watch it. Yankees, Red Sox, you sit down and watch that game. Sunday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Monday night baseball, whatever it is, those games you want to watch baseball because something juicy is going to happen, and you're going to add it to that rivalry, right? So, obviously the head-to-head matchup. And you can see it, right? We look at the Yankees and Red Sox over the last 10 years. It's more specific, breaking it down, right? They're like the two teams really that are winning that division in the East, right? You got the Rays who just won, but for the most part, it's been Yankees, Red Sox, and then and then you have I look at the Cardinals and the Cubs, and those teams are always playing baseball in October. Last 10 years, more specifically, they're the teams winning the division, and when they play, it's spicy. It's juicy. You want to watch baseball. And then you have the Dodgers and Giants. I would say the last couple years, haven't been the greatest. But even when it's not the greatest, juicy things happen. We'll go track back 2019, right? Max Muncy and Bumgarner. Max Muncy hits a home run. Bumgarner doesn't like it. Tempers flared. Things happen. Things are said. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for someone to throw a punch. It's great. Great entertainment. Great entertainment. And then, now, we have this talk, right? Dodgers and the Padres. The next great rivalry in baseball that everyone wants to talk about. And honestly, it's a great debate right now because the Padres are making moves, the Dodgers are making moves, the Dodgers are great, the Padres are on their way up, and I'm here for it. I'm here for someone to knock on the Dodgers' door and say, hey, we want that NL West division streak to end. Bring it. It's been kind of boring as of late. It is. It's been kind of boring as of late winning the division. It was boring. It's great. Every year, it was kind of like, yeah, as a Dodgers fan, it's kind of like, yeah, let's win the division. Let's hurry this up. Let's hurry this up. Let's get to October. Let's be honest. Dodger fans, you feel it. Baseball fans probably feel the same way too, right? So, let's get into this, right? 2021, right? This matchup, right? And this is honestly, where it's going to get nice and juicy because we're looking at numbers. We're looking at numbers. We're looking them up on the computer as we're going as well. We're looking up other stuff. And let's be honest. Let's start off with the bench. Right? Let's do a little point system here. Let's start off with the bench. We're not going to go player by player with the bench. We're just going to go bench overall. We're going to do, and then we'll go position by position. We'll do rotation. We'll do bullpen. Right? We'll start off with the bench. Right? And we look at the bench of both of these teams. And there's really, you look at the benches all around baseball, and there's really nothing there special. Right? Now look at the Padres. Jurickson Profar. Hae-Sung Kim. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not too sure. Sorry if I goofed that up. Victor Caratini. Jorge Mateo. And Luis Campusano. Jorge Mateo I know is a top prospect. Luis Campusano, never heard of him. Sorry. Not sorry. Victor Caratini, I just know from the Cubs, and he was like the third catcher on the Cubs, and he's the backup now for the Padres. Yeah, a little tough there for me to think. Then you have Kim, who we haven't seen play in major leagues, but he's a solid international prospect. I don't know if you would call him a prospect, but he came over from, I believe, South Korea. and people were praising him. They paid him quite a bit of money to play. So I'm assuming he is, right. I'm assuming he's decent. He's 25 years old. He's from South Korea, like I said, and they paid him $28 million on 4 years. So not bad, not that bad. $7 million, but they brought him over for a reason, right? He's probably gonna play second base. Probably play shortstop when Tatis is taking a rest day, if he takes any rest days. Who knows? But yeah, and then you have Profar, who's been kind of like, I guess I would say Profar is what he has. Has he like? He's just been flaky, I would say, right? You know, ever since he's been in the majors, like he's only hit over 250 twice, and one of those was in a 60-game season, right? Other than that, he's always under 250. And I mean, he shows some pop, you know. He's hit for 20 home runs in 2 years, 2018 and 2019. So I mean, there's something there, but solid bench option, I would say. He's a good utility, you know. He can play pretty much any position. I don't know if he plays out. Yeah, he plays outfield, yeah. And he plays infield, yeah. So, yeah, he's a solid little option, I would say. Let me look over at the Dodgers. And by the way, these are projected rosters. They're not, nothing's official. Spring training starts this weekend. The games actually start this weekend, so there's nothing really, you know. And I look at the Dodgers projected bench. Gavin Lux, Austin Barnes, Edwin Rios, Matt Beatty, and Zach McKinstry. As a Dodgers fan, I can tell you that Matt Beatty is a great pinch hitter. Just from one, the guy just comes off the bench and he makes things happen. Comes up, he's a pretty clutch hitter, I would say. Edwin Rios, we only gotten a little dose of here and there, but he seems pretty decent. Barnes is Barnes. He's really nothing too special. You know what you're getting out of him. He's gonna bat in that 200 area, you know, 200. And if he hits anything over 250, that's tremendous, you know. And then, you know, so is there. And then you have Lux, who's a top prospect. Well, I don't think he's considered a top prospect anymore because he's been in the MLB for a certain amount of time. But he was one of the top guys in baseball. Prospect-wise, he was. And probably this year is probably either going to be the year he takes over that starting spot, or he platoons it with Chris Taylor. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, he's got a nice swing. Hasn't really shown what the scouts have been saying he was going to be. So we'll see how that works out. And then you have Zach McKinstry, who they think is going to be like the next. He's going to be like another Kike Hernandez, just utility guy, can play any position, just fill in. Really only seen him in the summer camp, you want to call it, in the beginning of the season, summer camp, right before they started the 60-game season. And it was, yeah. So, I mean, looking at that, knowing what I know, I guess I give a slight edge to the Dodgers just because there's experience there, right? We don't know what we're going to get from Kim. He might be, I would say, my prediction is he's going to be platooning with Cronenworth at second. So in that case, we kind of have like the same, like Lux versus Kim. We don't really know what we're going to get from them too, you know. I wonder if we can see his stats from Korea. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Where'd they go? Oh, yeah, they're right here. So hitting, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. So maybe this isn't 130 games. Who knows? I mean, it plays different, right? And the players play different in Korea and in compared to like when they come to the major leagues. You know, the league. I don't know the leagues. I don't know. They don't really translate the same for some reason. But it seems like a pretty solid guy. So, just based off his stats in Korea. But from what we know, we're gonna have to give the Dodgers the slight edge here. So 1 point to nothing, right? And then I'm gonna jump straight to the bullpen. All right, I'm jumping straight to the bullpen. You know, and let's be honest here. If we, I don't know, is there like a, can I look up the rankings of these? I look at it on paper, right? And I remember a lot of people saying, oh, the Padres bullpen was really good. And I was like, okay, yeah, I see it. The back end of the bullpen was tremendous. With Kirby Yates and Drew Pomeranz had a freaking phenomenal year. Pagan was supposed to be, he's a solid arm in there, you know. Didn't have the greatest 2020, but he was solid, you know. And I just, if I'm not mistaken, I can't find anything on it. I could be wrong. But the Dodgers had, I believe, like a top. I want to say the Dodgers bullpen was better statistically. I could be wrong. I don't even know. Looking at the numbers, you know, looking at what's projected for 2021, it's looking like Pomeranz is going to be the closer, which I put a big question mark next to Pomeranz's name. And this is why. He had a great year in a shortened season. 1. 2. Number 2. I believe that the West. I mean, these Dodgers and Padres only played against teams in the West, and I feel like the Giants were bad, the Rockies were bad, Angels were borderline like bad, Mariners were terrible, Rangers were kind of bad. That's half the teams just bad, right? And you count yourself. So there's only 4 other teams. So you have the Dodgers, who are dominant. The Padres, who were pretty dominant, I would say. Astros, who had a pretty bad year. Up to their standards, you know. I mean, we all know what was that banging? Something's banging. I guess the Astros are here. I don't know. But the Astros, you know, after the whole cheating scandal, didn't really live up to the regular season wise. The playoffs is a different story, but regular season wise, they didn't really play up to what they usually were doing as of late. And then you have the whatchamacallit? Who am I missing? The A's, who were pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty dominant. And there's one more. Oh, D-backs. The D-backs are like a decent little, like scrappy little team. You know, they weren't the best. You know, that the West isn't the greatest 2 divisions in baseball. You know, so Pomeranz, I don't know. I'm excited. I want to see what he's gonna do. He had a phenomenal 2020. Can't take it away from him. No. But before that, he's just kind of been, a little shaky. So we'll see what a full season does. Get to play against everybody now. You don't just get to play against bottom half of the West and half of the season, for 2/3 of the season. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Jansen, I compare the two closers. Jansen's probably going to be the Dodgers closer. His ERA in the last 3 years have been in the threes. He's been shaky. He's shown signs of being great again, and then he kind of just falls off. He's just been very inconsistent, I would say. Then you have guys who, like Dan Altavilla, who's just, numbers are not good. Pagan, who was a solid pitcher in 2019, but 2020 didn't have the greatest year, like I said before. They just picked up Melanson, who's solid bullpen arm. Williams, looked at the numbers, not great. I mean, he hasn't been in the major leagues long enough to really give him a fair analysis. But I mean, if you're not doing well and your numbers show that you're gonna get sent back to AAA, it's gonna happen. And then you have Strom, Kella, Craig Stammen, who have been solid, They just picked up Kella. And then they had Tim Hill, who was he's more of a lefty specialist, and thinking about how it is now where you have to pitch to 3 batters, is he really going to be, I would put him kind of in that decent to kind of bad area. And then continue with the Dodgers and Jansen we talked about. Gratterall had a solid 2020. It's kind of hard to evaluate since it was so short of a season, but he had a solid 2020. Knebel who's decent, had a terrible 2020. But kind of Pagan, kind of you're kind of hoping for a bounce back season. Dodgers picked up Tommy John. Probably won't see him much. Probably see him towards the end of the year. Tony Gonsolin, who's more of has been more of a spot starter. Pretty solid though, solid option. His ERA in his 2 years coming up and down. Last year he was pretty much with the team the whole year. ERA under 3 for both years, so it's pretty solid, I would say. And then you had Blake Trinan, who's had a solid year. Joe Kelly, who had a solid year, but before that was pretty shaky, But he had a pretty solid year last year, even though some injuries, suspension, And then Scott Alexander is kind of for me, thumbs down, But pretty decent. I would say the bullpens are pretty even, The Dodgers lost some pretty key guys. Pedro Baez, Dylan Floro, even they just traded him too. I can't think of his name. Kolarek, the lefty, he's gone too. So I feel we'll see what happens. I would say it's pretty evenish. Maybe give a slight edge to the Padres. Maybe not too. It's very close. I think this bullpen battle between the Dodgers and Padres for 2021. So we'll see. And then we'll go straight in position by position. Then we'll go to the rotation. Now let's go straight to the rotation. Let's do pitching rotation. Since we're already talking about pitching, let's get to the rotations. All right. We'll start from the bottom up. All right. Potential 6 starters, right? Dustin May and Adrian Morejon. I don't know how to say his last name. Morejon really only had a 2020, where he kind of was pitching a decent amount. 2019, he had some appearances, but not too much. Numbers weren't that great. especially compared to Dustin May, who was pretty solid in 2020. And then you have David Price, who didn't pitch in 2020. His last year with the Red Sox wasn't the greatest. So I'm kind of wondering what we're gonna get from him, as you know, what the Dodgers are gonna get from David Price, especially he's a little bit older, you know. But as a 5-starter, going up against other 5-starters, he should, or even a 4, you can put him in the 4. It should be interesting to see him pitch. And then you have Paddock, who I feel like has shown glimpses of being great. But I guess, I don't know, he's not consistent enough. Right? I felt like he had like a nice little streak going, and then he faced the Dodgers, and the Dodgers hit him up a little bit, and then after that he kind of couldn't figure it out, you know. And then he'll have a good start here and now and then. He was like very spotty, you know. So interested to see that. Very interested. And then this is where it gets a little juicy, because there's a lot of people. Not too much bias. I'm going off facts, right? Numbers, right? But I feel like the Dodgers, in a way, are being very disrespected by analysts in baseball. I don't know if it's more disrespect or much overhyping the Padres. But yeah, let's dig into it a little bit. Julio Urias, who in October probably was arguably one of the best pitchers for the Dodgers in October, right? And he had a solid 2020. And then Joe Musgrove, who just came over from the Pirates to the Padres, who is, I would say, is like he's a number 4, maybe even 5-starter. You know, it's like he's there, and like I feel like Urias, you have Julio Urias as your number 4 starter, and that just sounds disgusting to me, because who's above him? This guy's great, you know. So there, I give another edge to the Dodgers there, and then these top 3 guys. This is where I gotta say something. All right. I feel like they're disrespecting the good name of Clayton Kershaw. The man is 32 years old, and he's still pitching like an ace. And people are talking that he's washed. He was hurt for a first part of the season, in the shortened season, and he still posted a 2.16 ERA. ERA was at 0.84 and had 62 strikeouts. 2.16 ERA. My man is washed. Disrespectful, man. Disrespectful. And then you have Buehler, who's kind of didn't have the greatest year, but he's showing flashes of ace, especially in October. Flashes of ace. You know, blister was bothering him a bit this past year. So we'll see. I think he is going to be the true ace of the Dodgers. And then our new friend, Trevor Bauer, who's coming off the best season of his career. Just won a Cy Young. And I hope he continues it, because kind of like somebody else I'm going to talk about on the other side, he hasn't had his numbers are not the greatest, but that one year it just stands out and won a Cy Young. So we'll see. And then the top 3 for the Padres: Darvish, Snell, Lamet. Darvish has always been a decent pitcher, Um, and then he had a really good year this past year in this shortened season. So I'll give him a nice little nod. And then you have, I'm going to skip over to Lamet, who I think he had a really good season. But like I said, you're facing against the same teams that are not the greatest. So I want to, this year I think will really improve if his 2020 season was like reflecting what he really is, So I feel like this season will be the season that really shows whether he's going to be good. And he's coming off injury, so we'll see. But I want to see. That's a pitcher I'm gonna keep my eye on from the Padres for sure. And then Blake Snell, kind of like Trevor Bauer. He won the Cy Young, 2018. And, like, if you look at his numbers around that, like, from when he came in the league to, like, these past 2 years, his numbers are not the greatest, In the shortened season, he had a pretty solid year. 3.24 ERA, 1.27 whip, 63 strikeouts. Kind of like, I just see that and I just think, you had as many strikeouts as Kershaw. And the guy he outpitched you. So you were telling me that the Padres rotation is better than the Dodgers. It's not. I don't even think it's close. It's not even close. Let's be honest. So if we gave the Padres the bullpen battle by that slight edge, it's 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Right, bench to bullpen. And now our rotations. And then we're going to go here. All right. We're just going to go with the give me's off the rip, position by position. Right field, center field, left field, third base. Right? I think those are the give me positions, right? 2 and 2. The right field and the center field going to the Dodgers, respectfully. Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger versus Trent Grisham and Will Myers. It's not even a competition. And then left field, I guess there would be some kind of debate. Pollock had a really solid year. Tommy Pham, I would say it's a pretty close battle. Pollock is I think he's a little bit older. I don't know. I really don't know how old Tommy Pham is now that I think of it. Tommy Pham, 32. Oh, actually, they actually might be a lot closer in age than I think. They're only a year apart. Actually, that's a debate. So I would say it's really only 3 give me's. And then third base, Machado over Turner. Obviously, Machado just finished third in MVP. Solid player, Whether you like him or not, he's a solid player. So, yeah. Pollock, wow. But as of late, A.J. Pollock, 2020, 16 home runs, 34 RBIs. I mean, if you really think about it, I want to say that my boy, A.J. Pollock, yes, indeed, had a better year than, yeah, he did have a better year in 2020 than Tommy Pham. 2019, 21. Pollock didn't really play. He was hurt. But it's pretty even. Based off the 2020 stats, my boy Pollock, you're going to win that battle in left field. So we're going to give that one to Pollock there, left field. So 3-1 position starting wise. Then we're going to go to catcher, Will Smith versus Osanola. I feel like this is like a coin toss because you don't really know what you're getting from these guys. They're going into their third years. Will Smith, who we got to see in October, just play great. And then Austin Nola, he had a solid year, So I would say that's a pretty even tie there. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much down the middle at catcher. Second base is a tough one. Like I said, it's kind of like that platoon area where Chris Taylor and Lux, and then Kim and Cronenworth were going to go head to head with each other. I mean, like platooning. I would say that's pretty evenish, somewhere in the middle. Yeah, we'll see how that one goes. And then, what are we missing? Oh, first base. Muncy had a terrible 2020. Terrible, but not terrible. It's kind of weird. His batting average was just way under 200. Was terrible, but I mean, he still hit for power. He still drove in some runs. Hosmer, who was kind of struggling before, like didn't really live up to what the contract that they're paying him for. Had a pretty solid year, you know. So I would say that one, it's tough. That's a tough one. It's pretty tough. I think that's another kind of like, depends which way you look at it. Like, you know, like Muncie might have a slight edge here, Hosmer here. So I'm going to have to call it a tie. Maybe, just maybe, a slight edge to Hosmer, right? We'll see. And then our last position, Machado. The newly signed, extended 14 years, Fernando Tatis against Corey Seager. And I think this is probably one of, honestly, if the Dodgers get the Corey Seager that they got last year for a full season, a full 162, I think that Corey Seager is the better shortstop offensively. Defensively, Tatis is better. Hence, like, that's not even close. But offensively, we've seen Seager he was consistent throughout the whole year. Tatis kind of like started off real hot, and then kind of like just like September came and he just, like, his numbers his batting average literally dropped like 30 points. It was like significantly dropped. So I think that's one thing. It'll be but like I said, it just depends where you're looking at it from. A lot of people are gonna say Tatis is the better shortstop overall, but if you're looking at it like full picture, right? Obviously, defensively, Tatis brings you what he brings you. So I would give it the slight edge to the Padres there, but Corey Seager is not a terrible defender. So it's like I'd rather take a like solid shortstop, defensive shortstop with the better hitting than a great defensive shortstop with solid hitting, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But yeah, so I would say that's pretty evenish. And I think I didn't really count up the points there, so it's like, but I would say the Dodgers do have the slight edge going into 2021. I expect the Dodgers to win the division. I expect the Padres to be in the playoffs in October. Wild card, another rematch. And I think this going into this topic about the next like great rivalry, it's definitely there. It's definitely it's built for over the next decade at least, but to be something great. One of the greatest rivalries. Even if it's just a short span, you're going to look back, and I think we can go 30 years in the future and then look back at this time and say that this Dodgers and Padres, I'm hopeful to say that this Dodgers-Padres, quote-unquote, rivalry is one of the best in baseball, or at least talk. It's gonna live up to it. You know, you have Tatis who just signed for 14 years. Mookie's gonna be here for like another 11 or 12 with the Dodgers. Dodgers are young. Padres are young. They both have some of the best farm systems in baseball, and they've shown that they're not afraid to spend money and be competitive. Hey, it's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun. This is probably one of the best things to happen in baseball. So yeah. I mean, the Dodgers took the series last year 6-4. If you want to count the sweep in the playoffs, 9-4. 9-4, and then really it's just, I just think the Dodgers, no bias behind it, are the better team. And I want to say something. I saw on TV about one of the analysts said that the Padres were the better team in 2020, and I just thought to myself, well, because they said something about, they didn't have their best two pitchers, and I go back to, you're telling me Clevenger and Lamet are better than Kershaw and Buehler. Look me in my eye and tell me that those two guys are better than Kershaw and Buehler. Seriously. You can't tell me. No bias intended. It's just the facts. It's facts. Look at the numbers. It's facts. And that if it wasn't for a Bellinger robbing Tatis, that the series might have been different. Well, there's no what ifs. You just getting my blood flowing. You're getting my blood flowing. There was no what if. Bellinger robbed it because he's a freaking great defender. Gold Glover. Put some respect on the Dodgers, damn it. Put some respect on the Dodgers. I feel like the Dodgers, everyone talks about how great they are, but then they go around and say all these stuff like, they're not that great, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here with that. I'm just going to get that off my chest. Dodgers swept the Padres. There were some tempers flaring. So, yes, all the things I said in the beginning of this podcast, I'm saying it at the end. It is built. They are building this rivalry to be one of the greatest rivalries in baseball. Even if it is just for the next 10 years, it's going to be fun to watch. The Dodgers are built to win for 10 years. The Padres are built to win for 10 years. I'm excited to see it. Let it happen. Thank you for tuning in. This has been your boy, Master Dami, the Baseball Paradise podcast presented by Duck Duck Bros. Let me know what you think. Is the Dodgers and Padres the next great baseball rivalry? Peace.